Today, the cities we live in are shaped by cars. We build everything with cars in mind. Stores, factories, bridges, neighborhoods. So, I want you to imagine your world 200 years ago, before cars ever existed. First off, how are you going to get around? Well, you can walk. If you're lucky, maybe a horse is involved. If you own one, you can ride them, or they can pull you around in a wagon. How would that change things? Well, there's a lot more horse poop for one. And the world just moves a lot slower. It takes more time to get from here to there. And if you want to move a lot of stuff, you better have a lot of horses. This is just the way things were. Most stuff in your life had to be in walking distance. Stores, schools, farms, you name it. And things had been that way pretty much forever. You could go anywhere in the world, pretty much any time before the 1800s, and you'd see the same thing, people walking. So imagine how big a deal it was when all of a sudden a guy in Europe invents something called the locomotive. This is an engine that sits on wheels on a track and has the power to make itself move. But not just the locomotive, it can pull stuff behind it, people, packages, whatever you want, as long as it's on wheels. And it can go fast. But how did it work? The answer is the steam engine. It works kind of like a tea kettle. Heat water until it boils, then harness some of that steam as it escapes. A tea kettle whistles while a steam engine turns the wheel. Each locomotive would have a metal boiler, a sealed container full of water getting heated by a fire. That nice toasty fire heats the water up until it boils. And what happens when water boils? Well, those water molecules get excited and they evaporate into steam. Instead of bored liquid molecules, you get excited gas molecules. This increases the pressure inside the boiler. All those excited molecules are looking for a way out. That steam wants to escape, and so it goes out the only available exit, pushing a piston on its way out through the smokestack. That piston gets pushed back and forth by all the escaping steam, and this turns the wheel that makes the locomotive actually go forward. Pretty neat, right? Now, you know the science that people figured out 200 years ago when they invented steam locomotives. Steam engines just like this one changed the world, replacing all the windmills and water mills and horses that had previously provided people with power. The power to move, the power to make things or run a machine, you name it. All of a sudden, there were steam engines everywhere, and there were trains everywhere that tracks had been laid. This was the Industrial Revolution, and it meant more stuff could be made, and everything could move farther, faster. It connected the farms with the factories, the cities with the country, and the continent with itself. It also let P.T. Barnum take his show on the road. His traveling circus crisscrossed the United States and Europe on trains, bringing the spectacle perfected at the American Museum in New York on the road. Barnum and Bailey's greatest show on earth. So, what's the takeaway? Trains might seem like old news, but in P.T. Barnum's lifetime, they changed the world. He lived through a technological revolution that would only speed up in the 20th century. Airplanes, cars, skateboards, the change would just keep coming. It makes me wonder what's coming next. So now I want to know, what big change is right around the bend? Jetpack? Teleportation? I want to know what you think.